Okay. My gosh. If anything, we are technology challenged here at Mamava. Hey, Mamava fans. Welcome to our Pumpcast today. Anything, we are technology challenged. Just a reinforcement. I'm Nikki, by the way. This is
Annie. Hi, sorry. Hi, everybody. We are coming at you from Mamava's World Headquarters, which are in a new place.
Yes, our new world headquarters. We're so excited. We moved right around the corner. We have windows.
It was a whole block.
Yeah, a whole block. We have windows.
Also,
so that's
Nikki
exciting.
and I were both on vacation for moving day. Sorry, colleagues.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank you
everybody
for
packing up my one box for my desk. I'm so sorry I sound this way. I'm hopefully going to not talk as much as normal and let Annie talk. But today we're talking all about, we're calling it Beyond the Boob. And we're so excited to talk about teething and introducing solid foods and hearing more from you about your transitions from the boob to the real world for your babies. So we're excited.
Dream of the boob to the reality of the real world. So we're incredibly excited. Actually, today we have an awesome giveaway for any mama that joins our Pumpcast, comments, asks a question, engages with us. You are going to be entered in for a giveaway from an awesome company called Colson & Joe. They do monthly subscription boxes specifically about breastfeeding. So they can be educational based, they can be sort of activity based, they can be supplies based, so maybe things you need as a breastfeeding mom. It's named Colson & Joe after their two babies, two mama founded, which we love here at Mamava. And for every subscription that they sell, they give a box away to a mama in the NICU.
So 1 for 1, which we love. So it's like supporting those moms that are, starting their breastfeeding journey, probably the hardest of all journeys with having their babies in the NICU. Really cool that they donate a box to those mamas in need. So we love that.
Yeah. Today, Beyond the Boob in general. Nikki and I, as those who are Pumpcast veterans know, had babies in May of 2017. So our babies are hitting almost 10 months at this point, which is mind-blowing. And so we have started them on solids. So there are a couple different ways that people go about adding in solid foods, moving away from breastfeeding. But the number one thing they say is to wait until 6 months. So both of us wait until the babies are 6 months old to introduce solids.
And typically they don't get teeth until then either, but every baby is different. I wonder, mamas, tell us, when do your babies get teeth? Mine didn't come in until 9 months. Yours didn't either.
9 months. Right. And then she just got both of these at the same time.
Same with Addie.
They both came through there.
They're so similar.
And then not. So Avery is in the 84th percentile of weight. This kid is a beast in the best way possible.
Prefers breast milk.
Prefers breast milk, and really is sensitive to texture. So that was like the first thing that we noticed when we started to introduce solids. Couple ways people go about it. One, they say one ingredient for a week, so that's an allergy focused thing. So just try sweet potatoes for a week, or it's a digestive sensitivity as well. Just try parsnips. I didn't do that.
Me neither.
Neither did Nikki. We just sort of went for it, and actually Avery did have constipation when we first started solids.
Tell them what is recommended.
And I did prune juice mixed in, or apple juice, or anything like that. Any kind of juice and water. But they say if it's like not totally loosening anything up, and it's literally like half an ounce mixed in either with your breast milk or diluted with water, and then it's like can even be a tablespoon of prune juice. And so they don't sell prune juice in tablespoons, so that's the only frustrating thing is I look like maybe an 80-year-old woman and I have a jar of prune juice in my fridge still because of the 1 tablespoon I had to give Avery, but that helped a ton. And you do it once and then she hasn't had any issues since. But Addie is a totally different eater.
Second percentile, although this girl...
In weight. She is second percentile in weight. My kid's 84. This kid beats my child in a crawl race. It's like she literally just sat and watched Addie crawl. She's like, no, that's okay.
It's so funny. And from an eating standpoint, she's been really interested in solid foods. So the first 2 teeth came in, really funny on the teething thing. She didn't want to nurse when her teeth were coming in. Right. She refused the boob and wanted the bottle. So that's a really interesting thing. I'm sure some of you mamas are experiencing. And then she has been all about solid solid foods. And my first was very much like Avery. Asher was not into texture and wanted everything so super pureed. Addie, literally, they say eats the most of anyone in her class at school. She's a little tiny person, but she kicks and like rapidly gets excited when there's a muffin in front of her, and she my kind of girl.
She came over for a lunch date, and we put them both in their high chairs, and you know they put a muffin. She put a muffin in front of Addie, and Addie was just, and Avery just stared at her.
Yeah.
Didn't eat it
she
all.
was,
And I'm
like,
like, how is Avery so much bigger than Addie and doesn't eat? I'm like, this kid's got metabolism. This is just not fair.
So funny.
But you know, one of the things. So, for example, when you're introducing solids, or maybe your baby goes through teething and refuses breastfeeding, that's this Colson and Joe subscription actually has you fill out a questionnaire about like what are your needs, what are your questions, what support might we be able to give you. So maybe they'd be able to give you educational things on.
Right.
I remember you were pumping and Addie was chewing on the tubes of your pump, right? When
I'm like,
was teething.
this is not funny. I don't want to be pumping right now. I'd rather be nursing you.
Why am I home with you and on the pump? This is brutal.
So that's mad respect to all you exclusive pumping mamas out there. So we get it.
Goodness.
We get it. And you know, the point, guys, is to just share that we know every baby is different. It's so interesting for me to see from one kid to the next. Like, I'm telling Annie and giving her, you know, we're in solidarity, even though our babies right now are so different. My first baby was the exact same. And like, it's okay. Like, if you're like, I want to be the mom that's going to make every single baby food for my baby, that was me. And I was so upset that he would, like, barf it back up. Oh. And now Addie, like, I'm making roasted beets and all these amazing things. And she's just eating them.
I have that great video of me trying to feed lightly pureed sweet potatoes that I had roasted and done the whole thing. And Avery's crying as I'm trying to give her the spoon, and she's rubbing it all over her face, and it's just like, this is not going well.
No.
Not going well.
So funny. What about you guys, moms? Does anybody have feedback for us on how it's been for you when you introduce new foods to your babies?
I sent Nikki into a panic attack one night. I did introduce peanut butter to Avery, and so they say, you know, I mean, they change their mind every year. It seems like it's like, don't eat peanut butter when you're pregnant. Eat peanut butter when you're pregnant. Don't introduce peanut butter. Introduce it like at 3 months and consistently and every day. And so I did a little peanut butter diluted with breast milk, sort of whipped it up and put it on one of the teether crackers. And I texted Nikki, you know, she loves the teether cracker with some peanut butter. And Nikki said, hooray, not to be that mom, but how long ago was that? And have you monitored her? And just like, wait 20 minutes? And I was like, I know, Nikki, give me a break. Of course, I double checked whether or not.
I should know that the encyclopedia over here would have checked those facts.
Though they say, so now they're saying feed your peanut butter, they're saying no honey before the age of 1, right? Are there any other foods that they say you cannot give a baby under 1?
No, it's just honey. Okay. And it used to be peanut butter.
Yeah.
Like my first time around, it was peanut butter. And so I was like, oh dear, Annie, what are we doing feeding this?
What are we doing feeding that baby?
Bed. What if she has a reaction and then
how long ago was that? And then the other one that they say, or the other phrase, is food for fun under 1. Yes, so you can introduce solids at 6 months. But don't be panicked if your baby is really just sticking to breast milk or formula, because they don't actually need to switch to solid foods until after 1 year old.
And it's funny just to see, you know, one thing that I think about a lot is that the first year is hard in general for moms, right? And it's hard when you're breastfeeding, and it's hard when you're balancing going back to work and you're pumping. And don't make the introduction of solid foods something that feels like an additional weight on you. Like yesterday, this happened for me. I was picking Addie up from school, and I looked at one of the other teachers there whose daughter is in Addie's class. She's a month behind Addie. And I go, don't you love this age so much? And she's like, yeah. And she said, well, she won't eat any of the food that I'm making for her. And look, Addie eats everything. Yeah. And I looked at her and I was like, I know how you feel. That was exactly my experience with Asher. Yeah. He wouldn't, and I felt stressed about it. I was like, it's really helpful to hear food for fun under 1, and that it's like they're getting Avery's getting all the nutrients.
I also sympathize with anybody whose baby is rejecting it, because Avery's now good at the packets. But it was 6 months. I was hitting, you know, I was like, all right, solids, here we go. I am so over pumping.
Yeah.
I want to maybe do morning and evening nursing, and I want this kid to eat food during the day. And she was rejecting it, and I was just like, how much longer am I going to be attached to this pump 4 times a day?
Yeah.
And so I hear you too if you're getting to a point where it's like, let's move away, or I want to not be the only source. What was the What's the Kristen Bell has the awesome show Momsplaining, and she's like, you're a food truck.
Yeah.
I wanted to stop being the food truck at some point. I'm like, actually eat tacos. I'll be a taco truck in the morning and the night, but I'd like you to eat other food during the day.
But some moms, I get it. Like, I'm so psyched that Addie's eating, but you know what's happening with her right now. So we're at 10 months, and she's done with the bottle while she's away from me. She doesn't want... she wants just the breast, not the bottle, doesn't want the nutrients, really just wants to eat solid food. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to be done this early. I'm going to be done pumping, which I'm excited about, but still, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, that's another thing, that breastfeeding subscription from Colson and Joe could be the type of thing, my baby's self-weaning. How do I go through this? And your question is like, okay, Nikki and I are very fortunate to have a flexible schedule where we get to be home with our babies on Thursdays. And so Nikki is asking, if I stop the midday pump at work and she wants to nurse to go down for her nap while I'm home, am I going to have any milk there for her to be able to nurse to sleep? Some of those are the types of resources that Colson and Joe subscription box could give you, which the lucky mamas that are commenting now are entering in to potentially win there. And so one of the things, Avery's got these 2 teeth. She doesn't, barely had any teething pain. Was it bad for Asher and Addie?
Both of them definitely got fevers. They both spike a really low-grade fever, and you can tell it's super irritating to them. So they both had issues.
So other than using your, pump cord as a teeth, what other teething?
Yeah, there's some other good teething techniques. I like to just give them I will give her a piece of cold celery, or you can sometimes do frozen mango or something that they can literally gnaw, a frozen banana that they can gnaw on. I feel like my pediatrician recommended. She comes from a family of hunters, and she recommended beef jerky as something that really they could really gnaw on, and it would feel so soothing to the gums, which I thought was really interesting.
Interesting, because they're also very concerned about salt for babies.
Well, it's interesting. She's not so much. So I went back and asked on salt because I was worried about cooking foods that felt super bland for her because I was not adding salt. Yeah. She's like, you want her to develop the same taste buds that you have. Really? It's not a concern to her kidneys. So if you're going to lightly season something, you don't need to avoid salt.
Don't give them Lay's potato chips.
Correct.
But, okay.
That's right. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting, because that was the other big one. Honey, and then paying attention to salt. Yeah. Always paying attention to sugar, too. But pediatricians were sort of saying, if you're giving your kid the banana mango puree packet, be less concerned than if you're giving them bubble gum or something. It's naturally occurring sugars are very different from if you're giving your kid.
Oh, we've got a good question from Nikki about any advice on infusing spices and other flavors into foods to expose babies early. So I love that. Yes, I think it goes through your breast milk. And I did it during pregnancy, and I was like, they're going to get spicy food during pregnancy, in utero, while breastfeeding. Monitor your baby if it's going to make them have acid reflux and make them sick,
or overly spicy, things like that. But no, I heard no salt, but I read so many recipes that were try light paprika, try different flavors like that are not bad for them. One of the packets I bought the other day had basil in it. To have a nice flavor in that way.
I'm a really big proponent of feed your babies what you're going to eat if they will take it. Understanding my first did not, but Addie's eating all these curry dishes. We had Thai the past week. We had massaman curry the other night. She's eating my red curry and coconut milk, and then I'm taking that and I'm pureeing that after with all the curry spices in it, and she's eating all that. So it's put it in there, see how they can deal with it. I know not every baby is oh, feed me Thai food, but some might.
My baby's feed me French fries. That's it. That was one of the first solid foods. Avery will take any French fry you give her and eat that. But we've tried, and also, so one of the things that Nikki tried is something called baby-led weaning.
Oh, yeah.
So rather than doing spoon feeding, which I actually did, and I so appreciate Nikki giving me a book on it. I think just called baby-led weaning.
Yeah, baby-led weaning.
But it encourages the fine motor skills and also just the repetition of hand to mouth, so that when you do want a child to feed themselves, they've already got this motion down. But it also puts it on their plate where you put in front of them on the high chair or wherever, you know, a piece of broccoli, a wedge of a sweet potato, and this is you know, roasted it or steamed it, but it's a large piece. And then they pick it up and shove it in their face and start to learn hand to mouth. And if they don't eat it, the understanding is they're not ready.
Yeah,
they don't really want solids yet. They're good. I tried that with Avery. She was not really into it unless it was a french fry. But she likes the packet. So she definitely wants other food. Yeah. She's definitely puree sensitive. But my pediatrician also said, never stop trying.
That's right, the baby-led.
So, the baby-led. So
or
always
anything.
be putting, and, you know, make your own puree food and don't do it pureed to high heaven like the packets are. Bring texture into it because, you know, you have to introduce over and over again. Babies change their mind.
I couldn't agree with her more. I think Asher started off a very picky. It would be who he is as a human, but we never gave up. Like, I died on that mountain. I carried that flag. I, like, always will, because food's so important to me, nutrition in general. One thing I want to give to you mamas whose babies maybe love food and then they go beyond the boob and they go to food. I got a really great tip as I was kind of concerned about Addie weaning. I got a great tip from my doctor, which was that all she needs, I was like, I need her to have breast milk for a full year. Like, she needs it for her immunity. And she's like, Nikki, don't worry. She just needs a tablespoon a day to get the immunoglobulins. Is I saying it right? How do you say it?
I think so. I don't know.
It sounds like
immunoglobulins? Globulins? Is there another?
I don't know. I thought you would know it.
Sorry.
They only need a tablespoon a day, so that's really encouraging.
Galacticos.
You can put that in their puree too. So I have all this extra frozen breast milk that she's refusing via the bottle right now that I'm going to end up putting in her purees. So you can get creative. Thankful, I'm lucky enough that she still wants me at night and morning, and just a nice fun tip for you moms that want to make sure they get it for full 12 months.
And we're definitely going to do one of these on weaning. And I am for sure going to be asking for tips from our mama audience on how best to do that. So stay tuned for that one, because we've dropped one daytime nursing, but it's just sort of looking at, like, when do you do this? When's too early? When is it just comfort nursing? How do you kind of find out who gets what kind of a thing?
So hopefully we answered some questions that you might have about feeding beyond the boob, teeth, what to do. We're here to support you, and we've got a winner today.
Yeah, so again, for the Colson and Joe 1 month subscription free, Danielle Ritter,
Woo!
you are a winner. So we will be sending
Danielle.
you information on how to receive that. Thank you all so much. Ta-ta for now. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Is it over?
It's not over. Turn it off.